तेज पुंज सत्पुरुष है, तह हंसन विश्राम।
VYGOS is Vihangam Yogi Global Online Satsang, which is scheduled every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Indian Standard Time. Those who would miss to attend the morning session can listen to the broadcast replay can listen to the broadcast Sunday evening at 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The aim of this forum is to give the entire world an opportunity to learn the ancient science of meditation and benefit from this pious service inspired by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, the pioneer of Vihangam Yogi. If you are interested in learning the technique, or want to conduct a program at your place, and for any inquiry related to it, please feel free to write to us at vihangamyog.org. That is info@vihangamyoga.org.
Cheers everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Vihangam Yogi Global Online Satsang. I'm Abhinav again, joining you from Sydney, and I'm excited to share another week of reflections, discussions, lessons, insights from the global Vihangam Yoga community to all of you wonderful listeners. If you're joining us for the first time, a warm welcome to you. If you're coming back again, thank you once more for your ongoing support. So this week, we continue onward on our journey toward understanding how to control the mind. The first week, we try to understand, what the mind is and, how fixed time and place, the power of Sankalp, can allow us to control the mind. Last week, we dove into some more aspects of schedule and routine. So, food, what should we eat? How much should we sleep? We heard some beautiful verses from the Swarved, the Encyclopedia of Spirituality, and understood this in great detail. And this week, we're starting to come full circle. We're starting to look at how all the things we've heard, all the things we've learned about, how they all filter into a daily schedule. So, the question is, what is a day in the life of Vihangam Yogi? And over this week and next week, we'll be diving into that. So we're really excited to share this with you. Of course, in a spiritual lifestyle, as many of you would know, the way we structure our day, the things we do with our day, have a huge impact on the progress which we make on the spiritual path. If we go back in time, thousands of years to the Vedic masters even, they had a very specific lifestyle, a very specific set of principles which they aspired towards in their daily life. And some of you may have heard of the concept of Dharma. Some of you may have heard of it, of different practices such as asana, pranayama, yoga, dhyan. And, all of this comes together into building a picture of what a day should look like. So we're really excited to dive into this today. And equipped with our global panel, we'll be looking at this through not only the medium of Swarved, but also the experiences of the master of Vihangam Yogi, Anand Sri Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. So before we begin unwinding our topic for today, which is Controlling Mind, Lesson 3, Daily Schedule, we'll first begin by stopping for the welcoming prayers. These are offered in the feet of the master of Vihangam Yogi. The Swagatgan and Mangalgan in particular are traditional and preparatory devices which set up the environment around us to allow us to introspect and to really set us up to understand some of these deeper concepts in a much more profound manner. So let's invoke the blessings of the master and embark upon this journey of controlling the mind.
आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर संत शुभागम आइए, अध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोमरस बरसाइए। दोष दूर गुण दूर करके शुद्ध हंस बनाइए, भेद गम गति ज्ञान गर्जन शक्ति द्वार हटाइए। खुले द्वारा शब्द सागर भक्त जन अनहवाइए। जन सदा फल विश्व शिक्षक शान आन बचाइए, शान आन बचाइए। विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याइए। वर्ग द्वंद्व शांति दूर कर भाव भेद मिटाइए। सार्वभौम समष्टि सत्ता त्यात्मराज बनाइए। वेश भाषा भाव जगमय ज्ञान पर दर्शाइए। समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए। विश्व शिक्षक जन सदा फल नीति स्वर अपनाइए, नीति स्वर अपनाइए।
Thank you for that beautiful composition. With the blessings of the Master, we're now ready to dive into our topic for the week, Controlling Mind, Lesson 3, a daily schedule. As you all know, and if you're a repeat listener, you're probably familiar at this point with our two avenues, Slido and WhatsApp, where we actively look for questions which you all have during the session. The Slido link is just coming up on your screen now, www.slido.com/VYGOS. And the WhatsApp number will just come on screen in a moment. So if you have any questions as we're going through, any thoughts, any insights which you want to share as a listener, please do place them on either of these two avenues, and we will obviously and most definitely get you involved. So now we move toward the start of our Q&A session. We'll have a bhajan in the middle of our session, just so that we have some time to take in what we're hearing about and learning about. We're very fortunate again to be joined today by Vijay Kumar from the US. He's been joining us in this series from the very beginning. Vijay has been an instructor of Vihangam Yogi since 2007. He's been teaching the concepts of Vihangam Yogi and Swarved in many different countries, such as India, China, and the US. He's currently based in New Jersey and serving as the president of the North American Institute of Vihangam Yogi. So we're very lucky to have him here with us today. I hope you can hear me, Vijayji.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's, diving into this week, Vijayji, as I kind of touched on at the beginning of our session today, we've understood a few concepts so far from a spiritual context. So things like sankalp, things like alp. Last week we heard about how we should eat just enough that it's sufficient. We also heard about how sleep should be done in a sufficient way. And we're starting to build up this map of what our day should look like, or what the activities we do in a day, what the principles around them should be. I think for all of our listeners, perhaps some who are more experienced, some are less experienced, there is this word which encapsulates a lot of this, which would be awesome to understand from your perspective, and that word is dharma. So what is dharma, and how does it relate to the idea of a daily schedule? Does it relate at all? How does it fit into that picture?
Sure. First of all, I welcome all the listeners again to this forum. We are designing this session such that not only you come and listen to the session, but you have some takeaway from this session to practice right after the session is over. So far, we have already covered in lesson 1 and lesson 2 how to prepare for meditation. If you have really adhered to the teachings that we had through the first 2 sessions, by now you definitely have developed a firm resolve that yes, I will meditate every day twice. You are remembering that resolve every day so that you don't miss it. You are holding on with patience to continue doing that. You have corrected your sleep routine. You have improved your sleep quality, your diet habits by following the instructions that we had from lesson 2. And now we are in lesson 3. Controlling mind is not a day job. Mind is impacted by several aspects of what we are, what we speak, what we behave as, what we eat, what we think. Everything impact this evil mind. It just wants an excuse to be restless. So you can understand a restless mind which has thousands of excuses to be restless can stay in calmness, in restfulness, only by a certain discipline, by certain ambience, by certain attributes that we should always have within us. Such qualities, such attributes, which a human being always keep within, because of which human being is not an animal. It is these attributes, these qualities that makes a human being is called dharma. In our ancient scripture in India, it says, ahar nidra bhay maithunam cha samanam etat pashubhir naranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmen hinah pashubhi samana. It is only this attributes of dharma which is in excess with human being compared to what an animal have. If a human being is deprived of dharma, then there is no difference between a human being and the animals. The food intake, the sleep, the fear, and the relationship with the spouse and bearing child, all these activities are done by the animal as well. The only thing that makes a human being special is the attributes of dharma. So dharma is an internal attributes of the being that we are, the soul that we are. These attributes, these qualities that we possess in our character is what makes us special as a human being. Thank you, Abhinavji.
Yeah, thank you, Vijay. It's an awesome way to kind of introduce us to this field of thinking in the spiritual sciences. I'm, the next question really becomes, you just touched on what dharma is. So we've understood it to be the key qualities that really compose our humanity per se. And obviously, as Vijay is speaking, in the spiritual sciences, obviously we distinguish between, the life form of an animal and a human, but there's a very strong directive in spiritual science and the world of spirituality that animals are also very important. They're a part of nature. So obviously, if you're listening in and you're wondering, are we saying that we are above or better or beyond animals? I don't think that's what we're trying to express here. Correct me if I'm wrong, BDG. But what we're trying to say, from what I understand, from what BDG is explaining, is that we need to learn from what's around us and then look within and understand what is different. And capitalize on those things. Would you kind of agree with that assessment, BJG?
Yes, absolutely. So the whole essence of understanding what makes us a human being is to recognize the capabilities that we as a human being has beyond what animal has. Yeah.
Yes, lovely. And so the next question becomes, we're talking about a dharmic life, so a life which has qualities that are, of a particular nature. So the question becomes, what are the benefits of living a dharmic life? Is this, you mentioned that, the in the ancient Indian world, the concept of dharma was very important, and it formed a part of the lifestyle. Do these things still apply in the 21st century? What do those benefits still carry over, or is this the old way of doing things?
Let's understand first what a dharmic, the word dharmic means. One is dharmic not because he is mechanically, religiously following certain activities, which is religious in nature, which is spiritual in nature. By having those external, you know, shows of those attributes, which is not actually integral part of your character, is not tagged as dharmic. Dharmic is an internal quality. For example, in fact, we are going to discuss about those 10 attributes of dharma that makes a human being dharmic. For example, if you just think about you being a person who live with patience, who live with wisdom, forgiveness, control over senses, truthfulness, just even thinking about these qualities make you feel so much at peace. Just visualize yourself. I would say close your eyes. Just think about these attributes. Imagine you have all of these, the attributes like patience, forgiveness, the detached state of your indriyas. That means, the subjects are around you, but you are at peace. You are at bliss inside, from inside. There is no restlessness looking at the sensory subjects around you. You are leading a life of complete honesty, no stealing from others that doesn't belong to you. You are living with purity, the purity of body, mind, intellect, and soul. You have the highest scale of intellect. With the low scale intellect that in the physical world people exercise, they are able to devise and invent so much of things that is making our life so much comfortable. But the righteous, but the dharma, the kind of intellect that dharma is suggesting us to tap onto is the highest scale of intellect, because that comes under our potential. Imagine you attaining that highest scale of intellect. Imagine you having the wisdom, the complete wisdom of what is right, what is wrong. You having full control on your anger. You are completely at peace. Just imagining, visualizing yourself with these attributes make you feel so much divine, make you feel so much at peace and bliss. How can we isolate these or tag these as ancient? We all are striving, even today, to experience such a divine, elevated state of being that we are. So, dharma is an integral part of a human being. A human being can experience the best state of peace and happiness only when they hold on to dharma, these attributes of dharma. It is beyond time. It is equally applicable in the past, in the present, and in the future. If we are a human being, we are dharmic. If we are not dharmic, we cannot experience the kind of peace and bliss that we can potentially have by being in a human being. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, VAG. That was a beautiful exploration. Um, and I think that really answers the question in a very clear manner, which is, if you're new to spirituality, or if you're just starting to think about these things, or maybe you have been thinking about these things for a while, the from what VAG is explaining to us, spirituality to seems to operate based on the experiences we hear. It operates at the internal level. And if you look at the things we hear in the modern world, in modern life, about taking control of your life, taking control of your destiny, becoming a better version of yourself, becoming only competing against yourself, as an example, the different things we hear and are inspired by. Many of these kind of converge and take us toward a path which brings some of these qualities of dharma to the surface. And I'd love to now stop for a moment and maybe go through some of these qualities. So maybe, VAG, if we could start with patience and forgiveness, and try to understand those. And then we'll take a short break for the bhajan and come back and understand the rest.
Yes, absolutely. So, the 10 qualities of the dharma begins with the patience. It says, Dhriti Kshama Damusteyam Saksham Indriya Nigraha Dhir Vidya Satyam Akrodho Dashkam Dharma Lakshanam. There are 10 attributes of dharma, and it begins with dhriti. Dhriti means the patience. Kshama is the next, means forgiveness. Patience is the foundation of everything that happens in this world, in this creation. If I am speaking to you right now in this session, I am speaking by holding on to patience. If I lose my patience, I would not continue talking here. If you are listening to the session today, it is all because of patience. The small task needs little bit of patience. The big task, the big work, the big goal of life needs the high scale of patience. So patience is the basis of attaining big goal in life. If you are patient, you will remain persistent in your effort. Patience is the key to bring in regularity, to bring in persistence in your effort towards a bigger goal of life. So, patience has to be our intrinsic quality. If we are not patient, if we don't have patience, that means we are not dharmic. If one thinks that no, I take care of my family, I behave well, I'm nice to others, so I'm dharmic, I should have experience peace and happiness within me. But when it comes to show patience, that is the real test, whether we have really attained the level of dharma that we should have. It is tested just at the moment of adversities. When the situation is against you, do we still hold on to patience? When situation is against you, as a Vihangam Yogi, as a follower of Vihangam Yogi, one remembers these righteous quality. Whether the situation is against or with you, a Vihangam Yogi lives with these qualities, lives with patience. And with patience, they remain in charge of their mind and intellect. And they efficiently use that to sail through those difficulties. Such is the glory of patience. Forgiveness is equally helpful to counter the heat of anger that you receive from others. When situation is such that people, the boss, your family members are angry at you, the situation can be controlled only when you hold on to forgiveness. You know that anger is the nature of a human being who have not had control over their mind, over the indriyas, over the speech. That is the basic nature of a human being who does not remember dharma. But you remember your dharma, your qualities. And by remembering your qualities all the time, you will be able to hold on to it. Hold on to it. So forgiveness gives you peace. Forgiveness isolates you from the heat of anger. Forgiveness keeps your intellect always active, because if you lose forgiveness, you will also get influenced by the anger, and in anger you lose your memory, you lose your intellect, you lose your wisdom, and everything goes wrong with the heat of anger. So forgiveness is that beautiful attribute that we should always remember to exercise patience and forgiveness when the situation is against you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, VAG. And as you're all thinking through these things, let's take a short break for a bhajan. So today we'll be joined by Sankalpji from India, who'll be sharing a short bhajan with us, after which we'll continue our conversation. And just a reminder, if you have any questions or thoughts which you're already having and thinking about, we have two avenues available to you, slido.com/VYGOS, as well as a WhatsApp number, which we'll have on screen in just a moment. So we're really excited to continue speaking to VAG. Let's take a short break and think about these things, and also take in the vibe of this beautiful bhajan from Sankalpji.
Jai Sadgurudev to everyone. Thank you, Abnavji. Today's bhajan describes the power of habit in the form of seva, satsang, and sadhana. There is a word used in this bhajan. It's called vidhivat sadhan. That is nothing but seva, satsang, and sadhana. The power of vidhivat sadhan is stated in this bhajan in the words of Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, where the eternal master Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, taking the responsibility of meeting ultimate aim of our life, once we adopt habit of seva, satsang, and sadhana. Let's listen this bhajan. बोलिए सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय. अद्भुत मार्ग योग विहंगम मैं तुमको बतलाऊंगा. यदि विधिवत तुम साधन करी हो अमर लोक पहुँचाऊंगा. अद्भुत मार्ग। प्रकृति आधार तो ही छोड़वाऊं, निज स्वरूप ठहराऊंगा। प्रकृति आधार तो ही छोड़वाऊं, निज स्वरूप ठहराऊंगा। सुरति उलट के गगन चढ़ाऊं, सुरति उलट के गगन चढ़ाऊं, डोरी मकर धराऊंगा। अद्भुत मार्ग। पिंड ब्रह्मांड शून्य जो 68 ताऊ पर बैठाऊंगा। पिंड ब्रह्मांड शून्य जो 68 ताऊ पर बैठाऊंगा। अनुभव दर से मोती बरसे, अनुभव दर से मोती बरसे, अमिया नद्यन्हवाऊंगा। अद्भुत मार्ग। शुद्ध रूप तो ही हंस बनाऊं, परम पुरुष दिखलाऊंगा। शुद्ध रूप तो ही हंस बनाऊं, परम पुरुष दिखलाऊंगा। वहाँ के दृश्य कौन मैं वर्णूं, वहाँ के दृश्य कौन मैं वर्णूं, वाणी बुद्धि न पाऊंगा। अद्भुत मार्ग। महाप्रभु अनंत दया में उनसे तो ही मिलाऊंगा। महाप्रभु अनंत दया में उनसे तो ही मिलाऊंगा। कहें सदा फल परमानंदा, कहें सदा फल परमानंदा, आवागमन मिटाऊंगा। अद्भुत मार्ग। योग विहंगम मैं तुमको बतलाऊंगा। यदि विधिवत तुम साधन करी हो, अमर लोक पहुँचाऊंगा। अद्भुत मार्ग। सद्गुरुदेव भगवान की जय।
Thank you, Sankalpji, for that beautiful bhajan. This bhajan really represents the declaration of the master of Vihangam Yogi, Sadhguru Sadafaliji Maharaj, as Sankalpji beautifully explained at the start. It's a very, very profound and deep bhajan, which captures all the different levels of progress and the entire path of spirituality. So thank you again, Sankalpji, for sharing that with us. So before the break, now that we're back, before the break, we heard about patience and forgiveness. Patience being this ability to hold on, forgiveness being this ability to almost let go and come back to your state of originality. And there's a few more qualities which we'd like to speak about today. So let's get back into this list with Vijay now. And again, if you have any questions, please do share them with us. I'm keeping a close eye on both Slido and WhatsApp. So VAG, the next two we could look at perhaps are Dham and I'm not even going to try and pronounce this, but the
Asteyam.
not stealing other, yes, Asteyam, not stealing others' resources. So perhaps if you could take us through those two, and then we'll just continue going through this list.
Sure. First of all, let us understand that Dharma is very powerful. It is so much powerful that if one adheres to Dharma, the righteous 10 qualities, then it is equally potent, it has equal potential to give the physical prosperity as well as the spiritual prosperity. Whether we want to grow in the physical world with the physical prosperity or we want to grow spiritually, it is the foundation of Dharma that alone can raise you to that level. We spoke about patience and forgiveness. And you can understand just by these two attributes as well that yes, by just holding on to these two attributes, we can certainly avoid the disturbances in our life, the diversions, digressions in our life from the goal, whether be the physical or spiritual. Just with the patience, just with the forgiveness, we can be so much more persistent in our destined goal of life. And so is the attribute of Dham. Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, in a small booklet called Manav Dharma, he describes what is Dham. And he describes very beautifully. He says if, there is a butter, in India we call it ghee. If the ghee is kept in a pot and the fire is from all around, if the ghee does not melt, this state of being unaffected by the things around is called the quality of Dham. You can imagine the fire is around the butter, but the butter is not melting. How is that possible? How is that possible that you have all five sensory subjects around you, but there is no restlessness in your indriyas? You are at peace within. You are at bliss within. If we are not there yet, that means there is a need to develop this quality, because this is the intrinsic quality of being a human. If we are a human being, please know that we have the potential to attain that detached state of indriya where there is no restlessness inside or outside. Let be all the disturbing subjects around you. Let be all the lucrative subjects around you, titillating subjects around you. But you are in control. You are at peace, just doing and acting what you want to do. Surrounding does not impact you at all. This is dharma. If we are at that level, then we are dharmic. If not, then we are adharmic. We are non-dharmic. So those who believe that I am dharmic, I every day sit and offer my prayer to Lord, I am being nice to people. Just by doing this, you are not attaining the highest ability of being a human being. Dharma, if you adhere to dharma, if you aspire for dharma, it is only then you can attain the highest scale of what you are potent to achieve. So dham is that quality of, having a detached state of indriyas, where there is no restlessness of your indriyas inside, there is no restlessness outside, whatever be the subjects around you. And it is all possible, all different qualities are interrelated. With patience, with forgiveness, you also build on to developing these qualities. Asteyam is the next quality, which is about having honesty within about what you have and what you don't have. You don't keep eye on somebody's else property. You don't steal it and own it. The having honesty about things that you have, and having no feeling about stealing somebody else's resources, taking credit of something that somebody else has done. These are another form of stealing. And keeping yourself, restraining yourself from such evil act, the act of stealing, keeping away from the act of stealing is called asteyam. So one must hold on to such honesty. Only when you are honest about it, when you don't steal things from others, it is only then you live with self respect. It is only then you live with confidence. You live fearlessly because you know what you have is yours. You are leading your life with honesty, with courage, with self respect. So, such a quality of stayam, the attribute of a stayam, is only to build your self respect within you, to build the courage within you to go and face any challenges of life, having your head high with the self esteem, and having your eyes down with humbleness, with politeness. This is what is the attribute of dharma, and this is what this quality of astayam can give you. So dham and astayam, in a nutshell, dham is about having detached state of indriya, having holding on to peace within. There is no restlessness in your indriyas, in your mind, inside and out in your indriyas. You are at peace and bliss despite you have all disturbing subjects around you. And astayam is to just not having you know the notion of stealing things from others. These are the qualities that will make you great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, PAG. That was a beautiful explanation. And it's a very interesting point of reflection, for all of us listening. Dumb, it's so it's so common that you're in a environment where things are breaking apart. I myself am a engineer by trade, and I'm often surrounded by, well, not often because we're not that bad, but um, when things are not working, then it definitely feels like there's a fire around us, and there is always a choice in those scenarios where the more experienced engineers or professionals in any environment, uh, even if it's just the environment of life, the more wise and older, more experienced ones of us, We choose to stay detached. We choose to stay unaffected because we know our intellect won't work. Otherwise, we'll be able to think. We'll start stressing. And as far as asteyam, you know, this is a very important one. Which, if you've seen what life can be like in different professional environments, sometimes it can very much be quite quite difficult to navigate in terms of if you're a young person going into an industry where you know that credit and respect is something you need, is a currency, which it ultimately does seem to be, if not to a large extent, then to a smaller extent in some places. Self-respect is something which the yogis have very much taught us is not only important for us, obviously, but is also recognized by those around us. If you can be a self-respecting individual and you can also be an other respecting individual, you can, celebrate the success of other people rather than stealing other people's success, then that really makes you a different kind of person. So just a short reflection on these two. It's, we asked earlier whether, these qualities of dharma relate to modern life. And to me, it seems like they help us navigate modern life. So just a short reflection. So VAG, there was two more coming up here. We've got about 10, 15 minutes. Maybe we'll get through another 4 and then continue the week after. So let's just try maybe get through these next 4. So for the next 2, we've got Shorch, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, and Indriya Nigra, which I'm sure you'll explain in more detail. So these two seem to relate more toward control and purity. So I'll hand over to you to explain these two as well.
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, we are discussing about dharma because dharma is actually our biggest currency. When we lose dharma for the little gain from outside, what we should also notice is that you're losing the higher currency for that little thing or from outside. Because once you are away from dharma, you are inviting restlessness of the mind. We are in the series of knowing how to control our mind, how to experience or develop the experience of peace and happiness in our life. The art lies in inculcating these attributes and holding on to that. Situations may be against you, with you, but no matter what, you hold on to these attributes of dharma. Shauch, Shauch is the next attribute, that means the purity, the cleansing, the cleanliness, the purity at the level of body, mind, intellect, and soul. It is the purity which will also, brighten your intellect. It is the purity of mind which will keep it at ease, at peace. So purity is important. Purity of body is important to keep your body healthy, fit, and fine. Purity at all these levels is what also reflect or show that how sincere you would be in any other discipline of life. Because if you're not disciplined in keeping your own stuff, your body, your mind, your intellect, your soul, with the utmost cleanliness, how can people even expect your discipline for any other things? This is our dharma, to keep our body clean, to keep our mind clean, to keep our intellect clean, to keep our soul clean. How do we clean that? Body, of course, is purified by water. We take shower, we wash our body from outside. But that is the external cleansing of your body. How about the internal cleansing of your body? To keep your body clean from inside, we we do exercise, we do yoga abhyas, we control the diet, we take pure water, the sattvic food, and we do yoga abhyas, meaning we practice yogic exercises. Through all these, our body is purified. And how is intellect, mind, and soul purified? Mind, intellect, and soul is purified by the wisdom of truth. So you cannot ignore the fact that if, let's say, you are an engineer, then you need to study only engineering books to progress in life. Thinking this in this line would be thinking in the line of only engaging yourself in cutting the trees and not sharpening your axe. If the tool you're using is not sharp enough, just keeping yourself engaged in cutting the tree with that sore tool, which is not sharp anymore, is not a wise thing to do. So, what is the way you sharpen your intellect? What is the way you sharpen your mind, your soul to work better, to perform better? Is not by constantly engaging it in study of the engineering book, if you are an engineer, but by study the book of wisdom, the book of truth, the spiritual books, the spirituality, the book that talks about the truth about what the soul is, that inspire us to go towards light from darkness, from ignorance to wisdom, from lies to the truth, from impurities to the purity. Only when we progress in that direction, with that, you increase the scale of your intellect as well. In fact, all the inventions that the scientist, the physical scientist has done so far, though they looks very wondrous to us, our master says they have achieved with just a half scale intellect. If any scientist or any person who have achieved so much in the physical world and start thinking, I am very intelligent person, our master says, don't don't compromise your intelligence by just saying that I am very intelligent. You can be far more intelligent than what you think intelligence is. So when you remember this is when you aspire for the purification of your intellect. Because with the purification of your intellect, you can attain even higher scale of life that you have attained so far, from what you have attained so far. So such raise in the scale of your intelligence, raise in your intellect, happens by the practice of shauch as your dharma, which is the purity at the level of intellect, at the level of soul, at the level of mind, which is attained by engaging in the wisdom of truth, by giving time to reading the spiritual text. You would only sharpen your intelligence, you would only evolve little better than what you are, to perform better than what you can in the physical world as well. So this is where shauch, the the cleanliness, helps in growing in life. Indriya nigraha is about withdrawal of your indriyas from subjects when you have used it for the intended goal. This should be our dharma, it should be our qualities, it should be our capabilities. And we should apply indriya nigra, meaning control on our indriya at every stage of life. For example, if you have started eating a food and you like the taste of the food, you enjoy the taste, it doesn't matter. But the moment you know that you have eaten enough, you should not get titillated to eat more. You just, you know, wrap it up. You're done eating. Such power of withdrawal of your senses, withdrawal of your indriyas from subject is called indriya nigraha. And this must be in our practice in every arena of our life. This is how you can achieve bigger goal in life. Anything come on your way, you take it only as much as you need, and don't get driven by it and get digressed from the path that you wanted to move on. Only by the practice of indriya nigrah, the bigger goal of life can be achieved. So these righteous quality must be practiced in our daily routine. Shauch and indriya nigrah. Thank you.
Thank you for that beautiful explanation, VAG. In the interest of time, let's wrap it up for our conversation there for this week. Just a note that, we do have another 4 to go through. So let's take them up next week and then apply them back to understand what our daily routine should look like. So I think the approach we're taking is one which all of your listeners should benefit from. We're trying to understand the foundations, the principles first, and then let's see what our daily schedule should look like. So thank you again, VAG. I think we learned a lot from you today. So thank you for joining us, and let's catch up again next week.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, thank you. All right. So just to wrap up today, let's go toward the Shanti part and then go toward a quick summary of what we learned today.
विराग त्याग की शांति हो, उदासीनता शांति, सेवा जित शिष्य शांति हो, सद्य शांति हो शांति। हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांतिमय शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांतिमय शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांति में, शांति शांति सुख शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांति में, शांति शांति सुख शांति।
So with this, we come toward the end of another week in the series Controlling Mind. This week, lesson 3, we were focused on daily schedule. Today we learned a lot of things. Most importantly, we dove into what Dharma is and what a dharmic life looks like. We got through about 5 to 6 of the 10 qualities which, compose a dharmic lifestyle. And just even in those, we've already learned so much. Let's say that you're in a situation where there's some injustice being done. So what should you do? You should remain patient. You should apply indriya nigrah, which is applying your indriyas in a controlled manner. You should have a sharp intellect to understand what you should do in that situation through shauch. You should, at the same time, remain detached from, the result of what is about to happen. You are trying to do your best and you are detached whatever happens. So, you can start to apply these principles to different aspects of life. And really that's the goal of this entire series, to give you something through which you can structure the way you look at your life and the daily happenings which compose it. And through that, you can hopefully and most powerfully control your mind. So we will continue our conversation on this very topic in the coming week. We hope you have a wonderful and prosperous week ahead. Thank you for joining us. See you next week. Jai Sudev.